My contribution to today. I have to say that was one of my favorite songs growing up. Dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel, I shall play. At 56, that's probably one of the only Jewish songs I remember. Good morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Wayne County. We are a diverse congregation that welcomes you as you are, regardless of your age, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, economic status, or physical ability. We come together to seek deeper meaning and understanding from each other and the world around us. Your presence here today is a gift that brings us closer to that understanding. We are an active community that lives its values beyond the hours of Sunday service. And I would like to call your attention to the following. Blue Christmas service will be this coming Thursday, December 15th at 7 p.m. This service is a meditative service for anyone struggling during the holiday season. We have a Head Start class to adopt. Nancy has a list with names and their interests for 20 kiddos. Some need shoes. Please see Nancy Hurt for details, and thank you. The membership committee would like to thank all who attended Friday's International Dance Party. It was our hope to bring people of different cultures in our community together to share music, dance, and simply get to know each other a little better. The world can only be a better place if we make an effort to understand the traditions and values of people from other countries. If you would like to find out more about our activities, feel free to ask Karen Skubik, our membership coordinator, after service.
Thank you, Ivy. And just to add to the thanks for the people coming to the International Dance Party so that you can picture what happened here. We had over 160 people in here. Right now there's probably, 90 or 100 in here. And we had tables candlelit on either end. The floor was open in the middle for dancing. There was a lava lamp streaming on the wall. So, and this was all Martin's idea. So well done. So, but for now, yeah. For now, I'd like to welcome any visitors that we might have. You're welcome to stand up and introduce yourself if you want to, but you certainly don't have to. It's nice to see some folks that we haven't seen in a little while here, too. Would anyone like to introduce themselves who might be here for the first or second time? No, and that's okay. But hopefully you find some of these folks after the service and you greet them and tell them a little more about this place. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Jenni Papp. I'm the Director of Religious Education in this congregation. You might have noticed that was not Reverend Walter Clark or me, or Ivy's helping us out this morning. Walter's not a little under the weather, so if you see his name out there, just wave. He's probably watching. So today, everybody of all ages is going to stay in the sanctuary for our worship service. Does everyone have a little small wooden snowflake? If you don't have one, raise your hand and we'll make sure that we get one to you. Anybody need one? There's one right there. There's a couple people. Thank you, Karen. So what I would like to do right now is to begin our exploratory worship this morning with you taking a moment and greeting your neighbor in whatever way you would like. You may get up, you'll have a couple minutes.
Hi, neighbor. Hi. How are you? And then once I ring your chime.
Good morning. You may notice that I am not Kelly Chandler, but I'm here anyways. But our opening song today is This Little Light of Mine, and this song has been credited as an African-American gospel song, as well as being attributed to the 1920s author Harry Dixon Lowes, I hope I pronounced that right, who composed it as a Sunday school song in the 1920s, inspired by the passage in the Gospel of Matthew 5, "Let your light shine before others, so they may see your good works and glorify God." And in the last 100 years, it has transcended religions to become a protest hymn wherever the fight against oppression has existed, from the lines of our civil rights protests in the U.S. to the collaborations of peace activists in Palestine and Israel. And if you would please rise in body or spirit and follow along with emotions. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
It's a good morning to be together. When winter's darkness spreads across the land and cold seeps through our thickest coats, we hurry here, drawn by the warmth of faces that are familiar and new, to the welcoming walls of this house. Here, for this hour, we open ourselves to new understanding, reassurance, and hope. For this is a place where truth, love, and challenge meet. Welcome. It's a good morning to be together. Come, let us worship together. I would like to invite Kai Marullo to come forward and light our flaming chalice for us. Chalice is our symbol of Unitarian Universalism. And please join me as we speak the chalice lighting words together. They'll be on your screen. And we'll do this in unison. These are the words of the Reverend D.C. Fortune. Here we go. We light this chalice as a symbol of our free faith. We light this chalice to remember the miracle of the oil that burned for 8 days. We light this chalice to mark the nights of midwinter. We light this chalice as we wait for the sun to return. Thank you, Kai. In today's service, we're going to focus on the Jewish Festival of Lights, Hanukkah, which begins next Sunday night. So today we will laugh, sing, and we're going to tell an interactive story that will involve all of you as you are willing and able, so that we may become to understand this particular celebration of light in this darkest time of year just a little bit better. As Unitarian Universalists, we have many ways of experiencing the world and understanding the sacred. What we call our living tradition draws from many sources of inspiration: scripture, poetry, modern-day heroes. One of the sources we draw upon in our worship and our religious exploration is Jewish and Christian teachings, which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbors as ourselves. We will not be celebrating Hanukkah here today in the traditional sense, because for most of us here, Judaism is not our religious belief system and it's not our heritage. And Hanukkah is not our tradition. So why Hanukkah here today? What does Hanukkah and the light of the candles of the menorah offer to us as Unitarian Universalists in this season? Well, the Hanukkah menorah, and here's one of many different styles. The Hanukkah menorah is placed in the window of the home. This is so that the light shines out into the world. The light of Hanukkah is to be shared, and it is to send light out into the darkness. That light is placed for everyone to see as a reminder that we long to be able to be practicing our faith in the ways that suit our family and suit our traditions as they were handed down and developed through the years. Freedom of religious practice is an important value. The Hanukkah story reminds that what seems impossible at first might be possible when we begin in faith and then see what happens. If we don't try, or we never take the first step, then we'll never achieve the end we desire. So the flame of one candle is not diminished when it lights a second or a third or even the 8th candle. The flame of the helper candle, here, and each of the 8 candles burns brightly without losing anything when the next candle is lit from that flame. So the light continues to shine brightly. When we share our light with each other, our light's not dimmed or extinguished. It continues to burn just as brightly as it did before we rekindled another person's light with a spark of our own. Hanukkah is also, it's a festival that celebrates the liberation from oppression and the joyous miracles that were made possible by the support of the divine. As UUs, we continue to work for beloved community in which all people are liberated And with our promises and actions, we proclaim our commitment to a world that is bursting with joy, joy for all people. And I invite you to think about this tradition and others as we move through the month and these holidays of lights and what they might contribute to you and to your lives. So let's immerse ourselves in more songs. There's going to be a lot of songs today. Story and celebration. The music that we will be singing is in the gray hymnal, number 221. Please rise as you are willing or able, and join us in singing Light One Candle.
Light one candle for the Maccabee children, thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. But light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. One candle for the strength that we need to never become our foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain and years long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger won't tear us apart. And light one candle to bring us together with peace as the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly? We keep it alive in that flame. What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? Have we come this far, always believing that justice would somehow prevail? This is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears.
I'm here for a reflection of being Jewish, celebrating Judaism, trying to be a good Jew, but hey. So over the years, I've kind of lost the retrospect of being Jewish. As I sat down and tried to think of what actually it meant to me, the first thing I want to point out, not once has anybody mentioned that through the 8 days when we celebrated Hanukkah, you got a present each day, each night. So it's not like Christmas where you just dig into all of them and then it's done. It's kind of this prolonged happiness. Each night when you got your present, you would be like, okay, you'd shake it. You know, a lot of the Christmas morning stuff is there, but it's one. It's one. I kind of think that's where the Jewish guilt thing got started. You know, it's just, why just one? Give me all of them now. But Mom and Dad was like, no, this is our tradition. It's when we lit a candle, we got a present. It was the remembrance. So that was the first thing. The second thing is, so over the years, I've always been told that my whole family was basically killed in Nazi Germany. So my grandmother got out, 56 years old, and it's still upsetting. So my grandmother got out on a dream. She had bought a ticket to America, and I think it was 1923. And her aunt did not want her to go. She wanted her to stay with the family and stay in where she was born in Lithuania. And my grandmother didn't want that. She wanted freedoms. She wanted to experience life, and she couldn't do that in Lithuania. And so her aunt took her ticket and hid it. That night, my grandmother, Bubby, is what we called her, meaning grandmother in Jewish. She had a dream of where her ticket was. The next morning, before anybody woke up, my grandmother went into my aunt's drawer, or into her aunt's drawer, and she found the ticket. She took a little knapsack of what she could find for herself and carry, and she just left and never returned. She made it, obviously, I'm here, but everybody else was pretty much wiped out. So through the years, we were always reminded about that during Passover, during Hanukkah mostly, because as Jenni said earlier, this is when we shine our light. It's out of the darkness comes the light. And that's how I've always kind of lived my life, is letting my light shine. I've never really held back who I was. I've always said I was Jewish. I've always said I was gay. I've always said my age, because I'm very proud of who I am and what I have accomplished, what I've come forth through, and what my family has come forth through, and what, as a Jew, all of our people has come through. So that's the second thing. The third thing that I want to talk about is food. I was talking with Judy and Bonnie earlier, and I was telling them I remember when Bubby would come from Chicago, she would come to Cleveland, and one of the things we would make is gefilte fish. It's a long process. And I was telling Judy and Bonnie that, every time I open up a jar of gefilte fish, I always think of Bubby, because it's like, ugh, I got to deal with this, instead of the good stuff, And she would make kreplach, which is, it's kind of like in the Chinese, with the meat inside of a noodle. A dumpling, thank you. So kreplach is like one of my favorite things. And I was going through, I just moved back into Worcester, and I was going through some boxes, and I found my recipe book, or folder, and one of the recipes that fell out was kreplach. And I thought, okay, it's time to make some kreplach. And one of the other things that we always made was blintzes. There's probably not one of you people in here that haven't had a blintza. It was probably filled with fruit or cheese. You can go to Aldi's and buy a little box, and you got to fry them up. Do not microwave. I will send you all Jewish guilt if you microwave a blintza. So we talked about the DNA. We talked about some tradition that my family did, and we talked about food. The one thing I want to leave with everybody here today, Hanukkah it's a reflection of the light and how long it lasted. When the lamp, the oil in the lamp was supposed to last for 1 day, and it lasted 8. It shows the reflection of strength, of endurance, of emotion. So I want you all to take that throughout the year, to be proud of who you are, to be proud of what you've done, what you've accomplished, and just be proud of being here on this earth today. Thank you. Our next song is Happy Joyous Hanukkah by Woody Guthrie and put to the music by Lauren Sklamberg of the Klasmatics. Guthrie's mother-in-law, Eliza Greenblatt, was a well-known Yiddish poet. With her, Guthrie wrote numerous Jewish lyrics. Their collaboration flourished in 1940s Brooklyn, where Jewish culture was interwoven with music, modern dance, poetry, anti-fascist, pro-labor, classic socialist activism. Guthrie was inspired to write songs that came directly out of this unlikely relationship, both personal and political. He identified the problems of Jews with those of his own fellow Okies and other oppressed people. Please rise in body and spirit and join in the chorus when the song leaders, Bonnie, Juan, and Judy, sing to you. And I'd like to invite the all-age chorus forward.
Let's help us sing the chorus. Come on. We're going to help the congregation and our all ages chorus. We learned the chorus. You're going to sing just the chorus. They're going to sing the verses for us. Come on over. You can do it. Come on. Come on. Hawthorne, come on. You were singing it in the hall. Awesome. Thank you. But you have to sing with us. I promised them this wasn't a choir. Okay? All right.
How many nights are Hanukkah? Happy, joyous Hanukkah. Nights and days, days and nights. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the nights of Hanukkah. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the days and 8 are the nights. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. How many candles do I light? Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the candles you should light for a happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the nights of Hanukkah. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the days and 8 are the nights. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 1 for the Moses on the mount. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 2 for the mother and father love. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 3 for the books that Ezra taught. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 4 for the Hebrew 2 children. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the nights of Hanukkah. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the days and 8 are the nights. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 6 for the tricks that the king did play. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 7 for the sons of Hannah that died. Not so happy Hanukkah. 8 for the new built altar place. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the nights of Hanukkah. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the days and 8 are the nights. joyous Hanukkah. Is the light of the God that shines. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. Round this whole wide world tonight on a happy, joyous Hanukkah. 9 is for God's light that shines. 8 for the new built altar place. 7 for the sons of Hannah that died. 6 for the kings and the tricks they tried. 5 for the brothers of the Maccabee. 4 for the Hebrew children. 3 for the books that Ezra taught. 2 for the father and mother love. 1 for Moses on the mount. 8 are the nights of Hanukkah. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. 8 are the days and 8 are the nights. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. Happy, joyous Hanukkah. Happy, joyous Hanukkah.
Thank you for indulging me in singing. So, now the moment you've all been waiting for. As Unitarian Universalists, let's just take a moment to breathe into the story that Hanukkah lifts up. Let's be joyous. This will be a participatory pageant from your seats, in which we will tell the story of the Latka who couldn't stop screaming, which is written by the author of many unpleasant books, Lemony Snicket. So we're going to need help from many of you. All who have come here to worship today are welcome to join in our story and take place up here as one of our cast. We will have bright holiday lights, peppermint sticks, evergreen trees, a family, and a latke. Please participate as fits your needs today. So here's how it works. At various points in the story, we are going to ask who's willing to come up with us and play that part of that character. Don't worry, we will tell you exactly what to say. When we pause and ask for volunteers, just raise your hand, and we'll call on you to take a part. Then you will move to the spot you are directed. Might be here, okay? And when you get to that spot, moving slowly and calmly, walking, okay? When you get there, a helper will dress you in a simple costume. Of course, you're always welcome to remain in your seats and participate from there, and we'll have plenty for everyone to do. So the purpose of this shared journey is to be in goodwill and a spirit of play. Nothing can go wrong. There are no mistakes. And nothing more is needed than what we end up with here today. If, one side note, you have a wooden snowflake, if you come forward, please bring it with you. Okay? I would like to invite our first narrator to come up. Right here. Mm-hmm.
This story,
Oh, yes. My mistake. You got it. Keep going. Thank you, Alex.
This story ends in someone's mouth, but it begins in a tiny village, more or less covered in snow. The snow had fallen during the long night, during which children had pressed their faces to the windows, looking for a glimpse of a man who they suspected of bringing them wonderful gifts. But instead, they heard a terrible noise from a certain nearby cottage. The terrible noise sounded suspiciously like something being born. The thing that was being born was a latke, a word which here means potato pancake. Latkes are a traditional part of the celebration of Hanukkah, a holiday commemorating a miraculous Jewish military victory. Nearly everything in this world is born screaming, and the latke was no exception. Even though the latke wasn't conceived or born in the way that any of us were conceived and born, but instead was fashioned from grated potatoes, chopped onions, beaten eggs, and a dash or two of salt. Once the ingredients were properly mixed, the latke was slapped into a pan full of olive oil and heated to a very high temperature, and this is when it began to scream. Ah! The latke was suffering so much that he leapt out of the hot pan and out of the window of the cottage and began to run screaming down the boulevard. Ah! This may seem like unusual behavior for a potato pancake, but this is a holiday story in which things tend to happen that would never occur in real life. The latke ran down the road and ran past a row of flashing colored lights. It looks like we're going to need some folks to play the colored lights, which are hanging from the rain gutters of another cottage. Don't worry, all you have to do is repeat after me.
Who would like to be colored lights? Alex and Hawthorne? Anyone else? Janice? Who else? And Peg. All right. Well, help me out here. There you go. You each get one. All right. All right, so let's have our colored lights right here. So now the rest of you, you see how this works, right? Okay. Listen for your lines.
The lights said in unison, "What is all this ruckus?"
What is all this ruckus?
The lights continued, "Your noise is distracting from our cheerful glow."
Your noise is distracting us from our cheerful glow.
I was just thrown into a pan of boiling oil. Can you believe it?
The lights could believe it based on all the screaming, but didn't know why.
Because I'm a latke. The olive oil reminds us of the oil used to rededicate the temple following the defeat of Antiochus at the hands of the Maccabees. The oil was only supposed to last for one night, but there was a miracle and it lasted for 8. Plus, frying makes my skin crispy and brown.
The lights stopped for a moment and said, "So you're basically hash browns?" And they thought maybe the latke would go well with a Christmas ham.
I'm not hash browns. I'm something completely different. Ah!
The latke rounded the corner and found himself face to face with a bunch of candy canes. Looks like we're going to need some folks to play the candy canes.
Who would like to be a candy cane? I.
Ian wants to be a candy cane.
Who else would like to be a candy cane? Emmett? Fiona? Maya? I don't know who I'm seeing over there. Oh, right here. I'm sorry. Who am I looking at? Would you like to be a candy cane? Come on up. Anyone else want to be a candy cane? Would you like to be a candy cane? Okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't see across the room. Arms up. Oops. I'd have to hold on to one hand. Put that one in your pocket. Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought
There we go. Perfect. All right, everybody, listen for your lines.
The candy canes wrinkled their red and white noses at the latke in distaste. The candy cane said, "What is that mouth-watering smell?"
What is that mouth-watering smell?
The candy canes continued, "Your smell is distracting from my peppermint scent."
Your smell is distracting from my peppermint scent.
My mouth-watering smell is part of the cozy feeling of Hanukkah. It reminds us that things are better now than they were in 175 BCE, when my people were not allowed to practice their religion. In order to study Torah, they had to hide out in caves. And when they heard Greek soldiers approach, they pretended they were gambling with a small spinning top called a dreidel.
The candy cane stopped for a moment and commented that was sort of like Joseph and Mary hiding out in a manger, and suggested someone should write a carol about the latke.
I'm not part of Christmas. Hanukkah is a totally different thing. Ah!
The screams of the latke grew quieter and quieter as the pancake ran out of the village and into the surrounding forest. Its utter fury was unabated, a phrase which here means the latke was still very annoyed at the objects to whom it had spoken. But it was quite tired, so it decided to rest for a few minutes beneath the branches of a little pine tree. And that is where we will rejoin the story of the latke a little later in the service. Candy canes and lights, you may sit down in the empty seats in the front row for a few minutes.
We will need you back in just a minute. Thank you, Elise, for being our narrator for the first part of our story. Each week, we take time to pause and notice what is happening in our lives, in our hearts, and in our minds. We take some quiet time to let our thoughts slow down, let our gazes soften a little, take a breath and let it out slowly. Know that whatever is true for you, sadness, loss, excitement, celebration, you're not alone. You are held securely in this spiritual community. Some of us pray and some of us meditate. Make this time your own, as I offer this prayer from Sarah Eileen Lawal. Dear gods and goddesses, spirit of life and love, bless us on this beautiful winter day as we celebrate and honor the darkness of the season as a time for us to reflect, look inward, and nourish and replenish our souls for a new year and the coming light. Grant us wisdom and courage to see the worth and dignity of our siblings around the globe who celebrate many different traditions and whose stories have something to teach us. We give thanks to our family, our friends, and our community. We remember that this is a season of giving, not just gifts, but something of ourselves, our love or joy to those around us, and especially to those in need. Bless the poor, the hungry, the hurting. Bless those who are separated from their families and those who remember loved ones now gone. And let us remember the joy of this season, the joy of the children, the joy of the dark and the cold, and the joy of this day. In the name of all that is holy. Amen. Everyone has a wooden snowflake. Take that snowflake in your hand, and I want you to imagine it filled with joy and compassion. Now please then offer that as a winter blessing to someone near you with the words, I offer you the blessing of this winter season. Thank you. And I offer you that blessing as well. I just don't have a snow. Thank you. And now that you have your snowflakes, your blessed snowflakes, let's sing, "Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow." Rise as you're willing and able.
So, oh my. So in the spirit of the latke, I forgot my Christmas music today. So we're going to just do it a cappella. Is that okay? All right. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Man, it doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally say goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. And the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Thank you. Thank you for that joyful sound. Fun fact, that song was written by two Jewish men born Sam Cohen and Julius Stein. So let's return to our story. Lights, places, candy canes, places. And I'm going to invite Rory Frank up as our narrator for the second half of our story.
When we left, the screaming Laka had run out of the small village, which was covered in snow. Exhausted from the screaming, the Latka sat down to rest in the corpse of a pine tree. We'll need some folks to play pine trees.
Okay, Benjamin, Elise. There's two over there. Come on, pine trees. Oh, yeah. All right, we're going to have to share pine tree array. Come on. You can wrap those two together. Hold on to one side. All right. We have any more trees? Do all the trees have greenery? All right. Oh, my goodness. All right. Wait, let's go right over your head. Maybe, maybe not. You look lovely.
The pine trees were napping, but woke up at the sound of an object plopping down at their feet, and the trees asked, "Are you a present?"
Are you a present?
Because as far as the pine trees were concerned, presents were the only things allowed to sit beneath their branches at this time of year.
Presents aren't really a big part of Hanukkah. There's nothing wrong with giving gifts to loved ones, of course, but it's more important to light the candles for 8 consecutive nights to commemorate the miracle in the temple and the miracle of victory when you are thoroughly outnumbered, so you shouldn't give up hope.
And the pine trees added, "Plus there's always Santa Claus."
Plus there's always Santa Claus.
The Latka was too exhausted to scream.
Santa Claus has nothing to do with it. Christmas and Hanukkah are completely different things.
The pine trees pointed out that different things can often blend together. One was even about to launch into a story about pagan rituals, but before the pine tree could begin its story, a family came trooping through the snow, searching the forest carefully. All right, looks like we're going to need some folks to play the family. 4 people. We'll need you to be able to read for this one.
Okay. Got the Franks. Your costumes are in the back. Here you go. And you're going to take an additional family member there. There we go. Give them a minute. Hum a tune. All right. I think they're ready. Go ahead.
As the family began walking towards the Latka, their conversation went something like this.
We always wait for the last minute to get ready for the holidays. We'll never find a good one.
The other parent pointed at the pine trees.
You shouldn't give up hope. See?
And it looks so crisp. We'll need to reheat it, of course. But it will be perfect. It will be perfect for Hanukkah dinner. With toppings like sour cream, applesauce, and even some jam.
I'll refry it in olive oil to remind us of the rededication of the temple.
And the triumph of the Maccabees over the Antiochus. After hiding in all the caves all that time.
One of the parents scooped up the latke and smiled down at it, laying it so peacefully in their mitten, then stared curiously at their other hand and wondered what they had been thinking bringing an axe on a latke hunt. The family strolled back to the village, smiling politely at the candy canes and walking past all the cottages with flashing colored lights, and until they reached their own home.
Here's your home.
The family carried their latke into their home, which was warm and cozy, and sat down at the table, which was lit with the flickering candles of a menorah, which is a branched candelabra designed specifically for the holiday. It is frustrating not to be understood in this world. If you say one thing and keep being told that you mean something else, it can make you want to scream. But somewhere in the world, there is a place for all of us. Whether you are an electric form of decoration, a peppermint-scented sweet, a source of timber, or a potato pancake. On a cold, snowy night, everyone and everything should be welcome somewhere. And the latke was welcome into a home full of people who understood what the latke was and how it fits into the particular holiday. And they ate it.
You're supposed to scream. As our cast of characters return to their seats and become disengaged from their costumes, just drop them. We are going to sing the latke song. Once again, you will just be responsible for the chorus. And I'm going to ask our all ages chorus to come up here, or Hawthorne. Come on, Hawthorne. He's already singing. I am a We start with the chorus, right?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so mixed up that I cannot tell you. I'm sitting in this blender turning brown. I've made friends with the onions and the flour, and the cook is scouting oil in town. I sit here wondering what will come of me. I can't be eating looking like I do. I need someone to take me out and cook me, or I'll really end up in a royal stew. I am a latke,
I am a latke,
and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a latke, I'm a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. Every holiday has food so special. I'd like to have that same attention too. I do not want to spend life in this blender, and I'm wondering what I'm supposed to do. Matzah and kara set out for Pesach, chopped liver and challah are for Shabbat. Linses on Shavuot are delicious, and gefilte fish are not days without.
I am a latke, I am a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a latke, I am a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come.
It's important that I have an understanding of what it is that I'm supposed to do. You see, there are so many who are homeless, with no jobs, no clothes, and very little food. It is so important that we all remember that while we have most of the things we need, we must remember those who have so little. We must help them, we must be the ones to feed. I am a latke, I'm a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a latke, I'm a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a latke,
I'm a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come.
I am a latke, I'm a latke,
And I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a la di da di da di da.
We pause now in our service to take the morning's offering, the gift of your generosity to support the work of this wonderful, playful congregation, all the ways this church enriches our lives and reaches out to the wider community. Our faith is centered on the belief that we can make this world a better place for all who dwell in it. In order to realize that vision, we need both the motivation and the means. Your donation helps the community put its faith into action by supporting our programming and facilities. This morning and throughout the month of December, donations that are not designed for another purpose will be split with Orville Friendship Meals. This offering will now be collected and gratefully received.
So hi, I'm also not Kelly Chandler, but I'm close enough. And today, we are going to be celebrating in body and spirit. As we wind up our exploration and celebration of this festival of lights, we will celebrate with our bodies and spirits and hope and joy that Hanukkah embodies. We will hopefully and joyfully learn a dance together called the Hora. This is a circle dance, and circle dances occur in almost every culture for hundreds of years. This one may have Greek roots and is believed to have come to Israel from Romania by the way of Palestine and then landed on the shores of the United States in the 20s or 30s. It's not a religious dance, and it is a dance of celebration. In the U.S., it is most often to the tune of Hava Nagalia, which is translated means let us rejoice. So in a moment, if you would like to dance, you will stand and move to the outsides of the room. If you would like to stay where you are, you may clap, stomp your feet, or move the dance steps from your seat. Please do it as most comfortable for you. Okay. Try to take this one. So, it's pretty easy. There's just a few steps, and it kind of just continues around in the circle to the left. I'll wait for everyone to get. Okay, so the first step, you're going to start with your feet together, and you're going to move your left foot just out to the side. And then you're going to take your right foot, step behind it, and then step back out. So just side, back, side, and that's really the only hard step of the dance. So you step out with your left foot, behind with your right, and then back out to with your left. So once you do that, your left side back, you're just going to kind of hop and kick this way, go back to your right foot, hop and kick the other way. And then you just kind of repeat that over and over.
Need more people. Come on. You need to make your circle a little bigger. Come on, Sam.
Okay, we'll wait with the music. Left, back, side, out, out. 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 In a circle. Left, back, side, out, out. Left, back, side, out, out, 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 out.
You all are spectacular. You all are spectacular.
Give yourselves a hand.
Yeah. I'll drink of water. Thank you to the Chandler family. I'm sure your mother's watching and is very proud. Let's close our worship service as we began with the symbol of Unitarian Universalism.
We extinguish our chalice today, and we remember on a cold, snowy night, everyone and everything should be welcomed somewhere.
Somewhere in the world, there is a place for all of us. There's enough freedom for us to express ourselves. There's enough for us to give and receive. There's enough for us to share.
There's always the miracle of light to guide us through the darkest nights. Go, share your light, and light up the world.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Hanukkah. Happy solstice.
Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year to everyone.
Everyone.